Lately, world leaders have focused attention on climate change and how to mitigate its effect on our daily living. Climate change describes global warming, the ongoing increase in global average temperature, and its effect on Earth's climate system. With climate change, temperatures are rising worldwide due to greenhouse gases trapping more heat in the atmosphere. Droughts are becoming longer and more extreme around the world. Tropical storms becoming more severe due to warmer ocean water temperatures. One of the significant causatives is the use of fossil fuel, especially in transportation. Burning fossil fuel like gasoline and diesel releases carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. Over 94% of the fuel used for transportation is petroleum-based, which includes primarily gasoline and diesel. In 2020, Lagos launched a 5-year climate action plan that prioritizes actions towards zero carbon development goals in sectors including transportation, agriculture, energy, and waste management. Lagos is the only state in Nigeria that has prepared and initiated the execution of a climate action plan. This plan outlined 26 efforts covering adaptation and mitigation actions to build a sustainable low-carbon economy in pursuit of achieving net zero carbon emission by 2050. In 2022, the Lagos State Government and Orlando Clean Energy Limited signed a memorandum of understanding for the development of electric buses for use in public transport in Lagos State. The agreement covers areas of implementation including proof of concept, pilot, and development phases. The Honorable Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Frederick Oladende, speaks on the government initiative on the use of clean energy rolling stock in public transportation.
So what we have here is an initiative that ensures that we begin that process. And the buses have arrived, that's the electric buses. We are doing the proof of concept. And it's important that we understand the data that come out of it, how does it compare with what we have on ground, and then how can we fine tune it just to make sure that when we roll out fully, it's sustainable and it's cheaper for people to use. So the buses are on ground for the pilot, and we will start the pilot very soon. Data collection will start, and then we'll begin to understand the dynamics, the infrastructure required to ensure that we sustain what we're implementing.
The Managing Director of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Engineer Mrs. Abimbola Akiajo, underscores the need why LAMATA is interested in the development of multi-fueled rolling stock for transit operation.
A year ago, we signed an MOU with Orlando with the mindset that we would introduce electric buses, and also they would roll out charging infrastructure for it. Our policy in Lagos State is that we're transitioning from combustion engine into cleaner energy, and this is the work has started, or the position that we have taken has started. We will begin to put these buses into operation toward the end of May. And that will be a position whereby we can really test out all of the theoretical things that we have all done with regard to how more cost efficient electric buses are and how much more friendly they are from an environmental perspective, and how much less maintenance they require. All of that we will begin to see when we roll them out. And obviously the vision will be that we will continue. After a time, we will begin to increase the fleet, the electric buses. And the vision for LAMATA, like we've always said, is to be a multi-fueled system in terms of public transportation, where electric buses will be a little part of that. That's what this is about.
The Managing Director of Lagos Bus Services Limited, Mr. Idou Oguntona, speaks from the perspective of an operator of public transport services and the salutary effect it would have on operations.
So this project is a very exciting one for LBSL as an operator, because one of the major concerns as an operator is your cost of operations. So today, our energy cost of operation is about 70% of our cost of operation. And with this intervention, it is expected that you can crash that cost to as low as maybe about 30%. And you can only imagine what that does in terms of the sustainability of the business model. Also aligning that with the energy transition goal of Nigeria in terms of achieving net zero carbon emission by 2060. I do believe that this is a right step in the right direction, and of course, trust Lagos State to take the lead in this kind of initiatives, along with the private sector, which is Rwanda, Clean Energy, and LAMATA being the principal sponsor of the project on the side of the Lagos State government. So it's indeed a welcome development. Over the next 6 months thereabouts, we're going to be doing a proof of concept to gather data and basically analyze that data with what we currently experiencing with the existing fossil type buses. So it is indeed a welcome development.
Mr. Ademola Ogunbanjo, Executive Vice President, Owando Clean Energy, highlights the role his organization would play in the procurement and operations of the electric buses for passenger operations.
As you can see, the buses are here, and they mark the beginning of a much larger program. What we're doing with these buses is to test the technology in our environment, see how they respond to our terrain, our temperature, humidity, traffic as well, and identify whatever kinks there may be, whether it's technology, operational, or even commercial, that we can then refine after the first few months of running this proof of concept phase. Post that, we increase the fleet, move into the pilot phase where we bring in a whole lot more buses and also expand the bus routes so that we can serve more Lagosians. But what we're doing as well is not only providing transportation for Lagos people, but joining the government's effort in meeting Lagos State's commitment for being net zero by 2050, which is 10 years ahead of the federal government's target of net zero by 2060. And in Lagos State, we know that transportation contributes about 70% of our GHG emissions. So if we can bring the transport sector under control when it comes to carbon emissions, then it means that we will have won up to about 70% of our battle against carbon emissions and GHG and all of that. That said, however, these magnificent buses, yes, they excite me because it's clear that we're ready to go, but it also points to the fact that the work is about to start.